Hi, welcome to Brady's Blunders, where I show you the mistakes in my games, hoping you don't make the same ones in yours. But today, before I jump into the game, I want to talk a little bit about the US Go Congress. So this year, it's in Boston, and it's between July 30th and August 7th, and I highly encourage everyone who loves Go, whether you've loved it for years or you just learned it after AlphaGo, but everyone who loves Go and has the vacation time to go ahead and sign up for this US Go Congress because it's going to be great. Go Congresses are always great, but this one's going to be extra great. What's always great about Go Congresses? Well, number one, you get to play lots and lots of Go. Right? There's a U.S. Open that lasts where you basically play a game every day, a nice, long, thoughtful game, but you can play way more Go than that if that's your inclination. You can play 9x9, 13x13, speed Go, you can play pair Go. There's pickup games whenever you want, and if Go is what you're after, you can't get more Go than at the Go Congress. And the other thing that we get at the Go Congress that we don't get everywhere is pros. Lots and lots of pros. We have US pros, Chinese pros, Korean pros, Japanese pros. They're all going to be there. And you can interact with them however you want. You can you can ogle them and admire them, or you could have them review your games, or you can attend their lectures, or what else? You could play simultaneous games with them. Anyway, there's tons of pros, and you'll be able to interact with them, and that's pretty cool too. And then the other thing that you can do, which really surprised me, is make friends. And there's no doubt in my mind that I've made friends at Go Congress that I will keep for the rest of my life. And when I first went to Congress, that's not what I was expecting. I thought I was just going to be around a bunch of people who enjoyed Go. I didn't realize how well I bond with them. But I said that this one was going to be an extra special Congress. So why is that? Well, a couple reasons. First is that Google's DeepMind team, the developers of AlphaGo, are sending a few representatives, and they're going to give the keynote address. And so one of those representatives is Fan Hui. He's the Chinese pro who lives in France and European champion. And he was the first professional victim of AlphaGo. So I'm sure we'll get some good stories from him. But also, we're going to have Aja Huang. And he was the hand of AlphaGo, the guy who was playing all of AlphaGo's moves, who never once went to the toilet in any of those games. It's amazing. And actually, Lee Sedol had dreams of Aja Huang, which is kind of cool. At any rate, Aja Huang isn't just the hand of AlphaGo, he's also one of the lead developers. And I hope we can learn some new gossip, or maybe they'll make an announcement. I don't know. But like I said, they're giving the keynote. I'm known for missing the keynote. No way I'm going to do that this year. And then the final reason, Boston. Boston is a great city. It's a wonderful culture, and we're going to have a good time out every night. I know it. It's going to be great. And don't forget the lobster rolls. Oh, man, I can just taste them now. Oh, but I can just hear some of you saying, I'd love to go, but I'm too weak. No, you're not too weak. Look, here are people who are registered already. Look at all the double-digit queues. And registration is still early. There's going to be so many more. So it doesn't matter. You could be double-digit queue, single-digit queue, Don, Pro, doesn't matter. Just sign up, come to the Congress. But I can just hear a few of you saying, but I don't live in the USA. Doesn't matter. A lot of you live in Europe. Guess what? You've got a Congress of your own, and it's maybe twice as good as the US Congress because it lasts twice as long. Let's see, July 22nd to August 7th. So again, it always seems to overlap the US Go Congress. But anyway, I'm sure it's excellent and will be great fun. And this year's is in St. Petersburg, which I don't know. I think it's probably a lot like Boston, a beautiful city of culture. Except instead of lobster rolls, you're going to get to eat pierogi. So anyway, doesn't matter which Congress. If you love Go and you have the time, just sign up. Okay, on to the game. So this is a continuation of the previous video, which you may remember is my first game as part of the Youngsang Dojang. And again, I make a mistake that Insang Huang identified. So let's take a look at it. And I've invaded black's left side. And here's the current situation, right? And I just played here, and then black played here. And it turns out this is where I should have played instead of A. But at any rate, opportunity lost, here I am. And now I need to decide where to play. Do I want to run out? Do I want to live on the side? Do I want to attack these 3 black stones? Well, why don't you give it some thought and go ahead and figure out where you would move next, and maybe even the continuation. I spent about 2 minutes on this move, so feel free to spend as long as you want, and go ahead and pause if you like. I'll wait here for you. Okay, so I'll let you know how I thought about it. I described 3 options, but the one of trying to live inside is generally the least desirable. If that's all you can do, and it's going to destroy an opposing territory, large one, then it's probably a good idea. But if there's a better option, a more aggressive option, then that's going to be your first choice. But if I was to try to live inside, it would be something like this. And I'll leave you to decide whether this actually lives or not on your own, but all I can say is, even if it's alive, it's not the best outcome for white, because black had 2 weak groups, and now they're connected, right? So black isn't weak any longer. So this isn't the most desirable of results, even if it works for white. So then the most desirable result would be to attack these 3 stones. And specifically, if you can cut these 2 stones off and take them away and unite, then all the better. But I can't find a way to make that work either. If white tries this, then some sort of tesuji like this, it doesn't work because this stone's in Atari. So if white saves that, then black is fine, right? So you've cut nothing off. So that wouldn't be good. What else could we try? Same thing from this side, but again, doesn't really work, does it? So what about this? This looks like a tesuji. Yeah, except I don't think it does much, right? White can't cut here because black just connects this way. White tries to come out. Not much doing. So it looks all right for black, and white's in deep, deep trouble. All right, so I looked at that and decided I can't really directly attack these stones. So I don't want to do the worst option. I don't think I can do the best option. So that means I need to come out. The advantage of coming out is it splits white, it splits black, and this group isn't strong yet, and this group isn't strong yet. So splitting 2 not strong groups seems like a really good idea. I worried that this shape was a bit thin, but I also felt that if I just play a move like this, then black's going to be able to cap me, and effectively black stones are connected, and I don't have an alive shape yet. So maybe I can live, but it's going to be one of those sad shapes that I showed a few minutes ago. All right, so I really wanted this to work, but I read for a bit, and I looked at this. What if black counters like this? Well, it doesn't seem to do much. This way, A and B are me for black, right? Or for white. If black cuts this way, then white's going to achieve that mission that I talked about earlier about killing these 2 stones in the corner. So this would be great for white. And if black just comes out this way, then white is clearly out. And you could see how weak these stones are. So when I looked at that one, it didn't work for black. This cut doesn't really work for black because white can capture. And the difference between this and the other situation I showed is that white ended in sente. So yeah, white's living small inside, but now white's got the ball and can play the next move. So this would be an okay result. Living inside your opponent's territory in sente, that's always fun. And then I don't know. I looked at a bunch of options and I couldn't figure out how black could punish white. And indeed, neither could my opponent. He played this way, and now I was out. And once white's out ahead of black, the game is really good for white because both of these groups are weak, right? This group's weak and this group's weak, and I should be able to take advantage. And indeed, I was fortunate and was able to kill this group later in the game. So, therefore, this move was good, right? No. And there's a pretty common tesuji, which I didn't look for, and neither did my opponent, but we should have. And that's when you've got a shape like this. You've got this one space jump, but one of those stones has two stones on its ears. So we call this being on the ear when you've got a one space jump directly away, right? So think about it this way. I'm sort of grasping both ears of this stone. And when you see a shape like that, it's vulnerable. And it's vulnerable to black playing A, and then when white tries to counter, then B. And sometimes the order will be different. Sometimes it's B and then A, but in this case, A and then B works just fine, right? When white plays here, black doesn't go ahead and connect. Black plays this other move that I talked about. And now these 6 white stones are cut off. There's nothing white can do about it. If white plays this way, then black can just play here, and you can see the value of this stone. Now it's putting this one in the tari. So now black can connect out, and these stones are going to die. If white plays this way, black can still go ahead and directly cut. White can't play here because he effectively puts himself into a tari, and then black can just capture this stone, and once again black has managed to cut off these stones. In this case he's done it in sente because this little clump is silly and in need of help. So what else can white do? What if white tries this one to cut black off? Well, again, we have this atari, and we're back to that same shape. So there's nothing that white can do to save these 6 stones here, and the game is at least reasonable for black. All right, so that one space jump was bad. So what should I have done? Just a little preparation would have made all the difference. I didn't want to touch this group because I thought it was weak and I didn't want to help it get stronger, but I really didn't have much of a choice. I needed to go ahead and bump it first, strengthen it just a little bit, and then I had enough time to jump out. Right, so what to learn from this video? Okay, faced with this situation, I had 3 options, and one of which was just to live small on the inside, which I might have been able to do, but would have been a bad idea. And the second one of which would have been to attack these 3 stones directly, but that didn't quite work either. But it turned out, if I can just come out, that's a really good option. And here's why. I want to make it absolutely clear. The reason I want to come out is my group at A is weak, right? We can all look at that and say, yeah, it's not alive yet. But it's surrounded by 2 other weak groups, right? This black group is weak, and this black group may be a little stronger than mine, but you can already see I'm on the inside of it, right? There's no real clear and obvious eyes for it yet, or maybe one. So this is actually an ideal situation. If you're stuck in between 2 weak groups with your weak group, and you can get out, then your group isn't weak. It's actually much stronger than the opponent. And so my instinct of jumping out was correct, but I needed to do it better. I needed to do it like this, and then black still has 2 weak groups, and I'm out and safe. But instead, the move that I chose left the aji of that A-B tesuji, which I recommend everyone know and apply in their games. Knowing the tesuji is easy. Finding it in the games, that's harder. And that's why I really spent the time trying to describe the shape and when it applies. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.